Welcome everyone to a brand new episode of the Geek podcast. Oh shit.
What happened?
You can hear that.
No, I literally couldn't hear anything.
It's like music, man. Dude, we'll get copyright.
Uh,
But there's always music in our hearts because today we are doing
yeah,
the
I
Bollywood
had a,
episode.
I had a feeling about this. You're gonna do it, but then I'm like, nah, the setup is way too good for this. I was like, nice. You got me twice in a row. Damn it! I was aware. I should have been more aware. Okay, no
So,
worries, no worries.
in today's episode, we'll be discussing on which Hollywood movie would actually make a great Bollywood adaptation. So we're going a little bit different. It's kind
Yeah,
of, I wouldn't say
our thing.
filler episode. It's a very important episode, I would say.
No, we don't do filler episode. What are you
Yes,
talking about?
what is filler? We don't know what
Yeah,
filler is,
what exactly?
but like recently we had an announcement that the Indian movie Kill would be remade to Hollywood, and they're getting the director of John Wick, Chad Statisky something.
Yeah, I'm
I
not even gonna
apologize.
try.
Yeah, so he's the director of John Wick. He'll be remaking it. It's an action gory movie. We haven't watched it yet, but that sort of that didn't really give us the idea, but it sort of like coincided very well. So this week we'll be doing which Hollywood movie can make a great Bollywood adaptation or Indian adaptation, but. I think Bollywood is the one which usually remakes movies. Shots fired.
Okay, I see the controversies here. Come on, bring it on.
But next week we'll be talking on which Indian movie can be remade to Hollywood, like which are our picks. So that's going to be the schedule for this week and next week. And I think now with the movie Kill coming, I think we can have an action episode coming out soon, like because we have to do Monkey Man. That's always in our
Yeah,
to-do list. So and now this movie is Kill is also coming out. So I think this year we're going to see a lot of violent action films. So it's kind of cool. But yeah,
yeah.
if you find these topics intriguing, be sure to hit that subscribe button, and also check us out on Instagram. I put reels out. I don't think I put a reel last week, so messed
Wait, you
up the
did?
schedule.
Oh,
I
okay.
didn't put out a reel last week. I think before that I put out two reels, but yeah, whatever.
Oh, that covers it up, right? Like
But the
every
week
week.
before that I didn't put any reels. So
No, no worries. This week you're gonna put two, so that covers it up.
okay, then I guess who okay, so we'll each of us has one pick of which movie we feel can get a Bollywood adaptation, which Hollywood movie. So you want to go first, or
Yeah, yeah, I'm
yeah,
excited for
I
this.
don't know Jay's pick, so even I am like excited. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so as you know, my
Mhm.
favorite genre to watch a movie is horror.
Yes.
Okay. So, and in India, we grew up listening to all these horror stories of the people. I remember when we were traveling, like we used to travel to school via bus, and the drivers and the local people there, these used to be the local ones. So every time they come back from the village, they had some insane stories. And
Mm-hmm.
that's why, it leads up to this point where I'm like, I don't like horror at all
Yeah.
because it has been embedded in my brain so deeply. It's like, nah, dude, I am not
We
messing
saw
up
that
with
in
that.
the Quiet Place episode.
Yeah, it's like, and that's not even horror,
Yeah.
right?
No, it
So
is horror. We talked about this. Quiet Place
okay,
is horror.
okay, 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 yeah. To know more about that, please watch that episode. See,
Yes.
I'm
Yeah,
also
plugging it in. Good,
yeah.
good. No, Nona just sneezed when he. Nona is in Goa, like he suddenly just sneezed. Go ahead.
Okay, yeah. So my pick for like is the Conjuring movies because it's like I know when we are talking about the adaptation, we just don't have much of horror movie, really good movies. Like we had one like Tumbad, but I wouldn't
Yeah.
really categorize into the conventional horror stuff. So that's why I was leaning into because when you told me about the topic, I was like, what could be the interesting picks I could think of? Then I was like, oh wait, horror is something which Bollywood has never really explored to an extent. Whereas like we have grown up watching Vikram Bhatt's movie and initial
Yeah.
movies like fine, but then it got like
It
really
became like
like
horror
horror.
sex movies. Like.
Yeah. And I'm like, I'm up for it. Don't get me wrong, I'm up for it. But once in a while it would be good to actually like experience. See, I'm not gonna watch it, so I don't care. Okay. But when we're discussing about it, it would be really cool if we have an ongoing horror franchise, which is like just gives you the right amount of horror and just feel we have so many amazing folk tales to tell. and those are gonna make some really horror like and a really good immersive experience altogether.
So you want to like adapt the Conjuring universe, but
Yeah.
also put in the Indian folklore into it
Y-
to give
yeah,
a
because
different sort of
yeah, they are like
experience.
Ed Loren and all that, they are like every movie they are like discovering new stuff, new paranormal activities. And in just India, like in every village you go, pretty much you're gonna have one old folk tale where either you heard it from your parents or your relative or your friends. It could be haunted house, it could be anything. The scope is really endless when we are talking,
Yeah.
because I grown up watching and hearing so many of these things that that's why I said, no, it's like my fear for horror movies like developed from that.
But my question is, if we can adapt any horror, then do we need to remake The Conjuring? Like, what is that Conjuring brings that would make it a little bit different? The Bollywood
So it's
adaptation.
like I want to keep like the premise of it,
Ha ha.
like two investigative like paranormal investigator trying to see what's going wrong and figuring out a way. And it would be just cool to have like really good B-list cast, like maybe Ayushman and all that, which are gonna bring. We can keep changing it, we can do whatever we want to do, because right now we are in an age of franchise and like
Right, right.
sequels and all that. So it would be really cool to have like one movie in every 2 years, so
Ha
we
ha.
don't get bored, and like it would be really fun to look out to.
Right, right. I think yeah, it makes sense, but there's a lot of leeway. Do you have any director in mind who can like bring this to life?
That's the thing. I don't, because see, my inclination towards horror always, like for Bollywood, it goes to Stree.
Huh.
I know it's not horror, but it's like horror comedy,
Horror comedy,
and
yeah.
yeah, and I really feel like for me they nailed the horror part of it, because it's very, when you're talking about horror comedy, it's very two opposite genres. Like
Yes.
for them to even strike a balance between these two, because I thought it's gonna be, when you're laughing, then out of sudden you cannot just transition to, oh, something scary gonna happen.
Yeah.
But they just do it really good in that movie. There's a, like, he directed Bhedia, but like that really didn't work for me that much. But like Sri, so maybe he could do. But again, that's if we are building a franchise in India, I think we're gonna have more directors coming forward, because right now there is like, so the reason why R-rated horror movies and in general saw Conjuring work in West, because there is a huge demand for it.
Yes.
In Halloween and October time, there's like huge releases. So that's when there is a demand, people will automatically step up, studios will want to uh, grab that market. So I think once we have and I know plenty of people, like, dude, I have seen so many of my friends where they went to watch the horror movies of the West and all
West,
that,
yeah.
because they are more excited towards it. They know it's going to be really awesome. But for Hindi
Right.
movies, it does not have the same excitement, because we never had a really good one.
Right. So you don't want to like pivot it to a horror comedy. You want to like keep it at horror
Nah,
and
because yeah, that's this. I know, like, I think horror comedy could be our one, but I don't necessarily want to be the next thing forward,
right, right, right. So
because
you
it's
want to
very
have like
hard
a
to.
one full-on horror franchise,
Yeah,
inspired, sort of taking cues from The Conjuring.
exactly.
That'll be cool. Yeah. I think yeah,
And
that's a
I don't
pretty
know if
good
you have
pick.
seen that movie. There is I don't even remember the movie. There's a doll character, Tatya Bichu.
Ha ha
It's
ha.
like in our childhood growing up. So, that's our Indian Annabelle, whatever you want to say. So, but yeah.
Okay, I think yeah, that's a pretty interesting pick. Yeah, but I think okay, I'll get to mine now.
Okay, yeah, that's what I'm
Uh,
looking forward to be
I think
honest.
I already told you which one, but the view I did tell you. I'm not going to lie. You didn't tell me yours, but I did tell you mine because it's a little bit. It's not really offbeat, but it's not a movie that is very old. It recently came
Okay.
out and it didn't do super well at the box office, but it did receive a fair amount of critical acclaim. And the movie
Okay.
is The Fall Guy. So
Oh,
starring
yeah, you did tell me.
yeah.
I was like, maybe you changed it in
No, no,
between.
no. So it stars
Okay.
Ryan Gosling. It has Emily Blunt. So when I watched this movie, it's so the movie is, for those who don't know, it's about a stuntman, and it's basically a romantic action film. Basically, he has his relationship with the film director. Like Emily Blunt plays a film director in the movie, and basically the relationship that ensues behind the scenes is what the movie is about. And there's
Okay.
a lot of like twists and turns and suspense and stuff like that, like which happens behind the scenes. So why. First of all, when I finished watching the movie, I enjoyed it a lot. I thought it was great, but I also felt the feeling, "Arey, this could be a perfect Bollywood movie. Like it has that whole over the topness in the romance, like
Okay.
especially between. So first of all, I think when you look at something like Bollywood, it's been quite some time since we got a movie about the movie industry. Like I
Yeah,
can't
that
think of much. Like I think last time we had this Luck by Chance by Zoe Akhtar.
yeah.
Like
I immediately thought of Om Shanti Om.
yeah, Om Shanti was maybe the big budget last movie we
Yeah.
got. So I feel like the landscape of Bollywood has changed a lot in the last,
Hmm.
especially in the last few years, post COVID and everything. Like, and I think this film is perfect to sort of explore a lot of that. Like, you can
Hmm.
explore stuff like nepotism on the film sets, like stars charging like so like abundance of money and not getting any kind of openings. The acceptance of people's on Bollywood movies sort of fading away. I think all
Yeah.
of this can be explored through this movie because it has that sort of old, not I wouldn't say Western vibe, but that old romanticized feeling. This movie
Okay.
definitely has because it's about a stuntman first of all, so you can
Hmm.
relate to it and you can actually explore a lot of how Bollywood stunts are made. So you can adapt that aspect very differently
Hmm.
here in this movie. And also, I have like so the actor who I have in mind is going to be very controversial. Okay,
Yeah.
it's going to be like so. My first pick of the actor is someone like I mean I'm sure everyone is familiar. It's Tiger Sheriff.
Okay. Nah.
So now obviously there is
Okay.
that.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, I'm not saying Tiger Sheriff is as good as Ryan Gosling. No,
Of course. Huh.
definitely not. Okay, but I'm just putting like someone like a Tiger Sheriff and looking at his skills. Like, he is
Mm-hmm.
perfect to play a stuntman role because
Yeah.
a role that demands a lot physically. And, it's very believable for people watching that he can pull off these stunts, like
Yeah.
all these steps. Secondly, I think him playing an outsider or him playing a character who is not really like for example he's from the film family, he's sort of
Yeah.
he's grown inside the industry, but him
Yeah.
playing a character that's kind of outside the industry a little bit and just doing a
Hmm.
stuntman job, which is probably a job which is very underappreciated by
Yeah.
people in the
Definitely.
industry because most people don't even know who these people are. No one really like they don't have the sort of celebrity pull like the actors have, and that's everywhere in Bollywood, Hollywood, in all industries. So I think exploring that, him sort of, you're sort of turning it around with someone like Tiger
Hmm.
Sheriff and putting him in the shoes of someone outside the industry. I
Yeah.
think that really works well. Like I don't know, I think
Nah, I'm with you on this because the more you talked about it, the more it made sense to me. Because
yeah.
just when I was thinking, they could use him as to cast as an outsider and to give commentary on the insider, and
Yes.
it works double
It'll
time,
be
because
it'll be like
yeah,
he's making fun of himself, like his
yeah,
real life thing. And I feel like so far I don't think any director has actually utilized Tiger Sheriff in a way that has brought him to stardom. Like I know
yeah,
he has had very successful movies like the Baghi franchise, but no one really like if you talk to anyone mainstream and talk about his movies, no one really likes his movies, to be very
yeah,
honest. Like because it's very cliche, it's very action heavy, it's kind of the same story all of the time, but this could be something that can help him reinvent himself. And
yeah.
I'm not very sure how, like, because I feel his skill set has never been explored that much for a performance, but this could be it. Like I feel like this is the movie that I feel like they should target now. See, I'm not a big fan of remakes in general, but there are
Yeah.
some stories that you feel that can be adapted to certain countries because of the certain culture that the country has, and you can
Yeah.
bring something very new to it. And I think Fall Guy is that movie where it can, I think, be a more successful Bollywood movie than a Hollywood film. Because if you look at the story, it's pretty like very normal love story, but with a lot of heavy budget. I think it's something that a lot of Indian audiences would really enjoy because there's a lot of humor, but there's a lot of action and there's a lot of twists and turns in the story, but it's nothing too much. So I think that's kind of my
Yeah,
pick.
that's when you told me before the podcast, like it's gonna be controversial, I was like, what is he gonna say? I'm not sure about this. Do we have to cut it afterwards? But no, that's actually a really interesting pick because see, I was initially worried ki we both are gonna choose the obvious ones.
Yeah.
So I was like, ah man, I hope we don't. I know, yeah, for me, I knew I'm not gonna choose it because even I would, see, as I said, I'm not gonna watch those movies if
Yeah.
they ever get it made. So, But yeah, even with the choices you made was like pretty interesting, and the casting was really like
I think that's on point. Like,
yeah, actually it is. I'm with you on this.
and like I even have a director in mind, but it's like the director choice is very obvious. It's Rajan DK because of
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
who did series like Family Man. They also directed movies like Go Go or Gone. So
Yeah,
I
gentleman. Yeah.
yeah, Gentlemen. So I feel like they have, first of all, knack for action scenes is amazing. Like they really understand action very well as directors, but also I feel like you can act the jokes which need to be put forward in this
Yeah.
movie. Like
Oh man, yeah. The more I think about it, the like, it just
it feels
fits into
right.
the
Like it
character.
feels
Yeah,
so
yeah, it
right.
does. Like from everything. Like Takesh Shroff in a Raj and DK movie, a meta movie, talking about like the industry in general, and
Yes.
have lots of like they don't even have to do an ass pull for like the incredible action sequences
Yes.
because it's gonna be within, like
Yeah.
they are making a movie with it. So yeah,
Exactly.
that's a really awesome. Man.
It
Yeah,
is. I mean, I know this. It's a little bit like being a marketing person and just pulling out because it's not
yeah,
a very creative thing. But still, I feel like it makes sense. And I think like for Emily Blunt's character, I thought of maybe like you can bring Kriti Sanon and you can bring the old pair back. It kind of works.
yeah. Oh yeah, the first.
And I feel like Kriti Sanon can pull off that Emily Blunt character also. Like being a film director and stuff like that. So I don't know. Overall, it made a lot of sense in my head, and
You
I'm
know
like,
what? Like, I know I shouldn't be this shocked because, like, I'm your podcast buddy and I know you for long, so I should have more trust in you. But I don't know something about your responses. Like, oh shit, that's actually good. Like, in general, you don't give out good ideas. So I'm like, nah, nah. It's like, it's just like shocked me. Like, oh, like, damn, that's actually good.
but yeah, I think this was a little bit of a weird episode. I forgot to mention this in the start. Like the
What?
picture which I put is La La Land picture because I couldn't think of anything else. So this was
Again,
the picture.
again. Oh my god. Okay.
Like these episodes, it's really hard to put a picture like
Yeah.
down. And
Because this isn't the right picture, right?
you could say that I could put more effort and just put a text, but I'm too lazy. That's the truth.
Nah, nah, nah. See, if you give people really good content early on, they're gonna get habituated and they're gonna demand more
That
from it.
is the truth.
And
Yeah.
then there won't be growth. See, one thing people like to see more than anything is a constant growth.
So we generate our downfall. Like we
Yeah,
generate.
exactly. This is all part of the plan, bro. This is all part of the plan. See, within few years, we're gonna replace the background with a studio
Yeah.
and we're gonna doing
It
it
won't
as a
even be us. It won't even be us. We'll bring in more talented people.
oh, I thought you were gonna replace me when we get successful. I was like,
No, that's exactly what I said. We'll bring in more talented people to do the podcast, and we will just be producers.
okay. Yeah, yeah. We'll be dealing with money. Yeah, that's what I'm talking
Just
about.
spending money. No money is coming back.
No one is coming back.
Okay,
That's pretty
man.
how they do business in Bollywood these days. It's like they're spending so much on
Yeah.
actors. Recently, I don't know when the quote came. Like I just saw a tweet like Karan Johar said actors are asking for 35, 40 and they're delivering
Opening is
3.5,
yeah,
4,
3 point.
4 crore bucks. I was like, finally, about damn time someone like big officially makes a statement about this
Yeah,
because
yeah.
it's just like really like
That's
blown
true.
out of proportion.
But yeah, I think that's it for today's episode. It's a little bit of a quick episode, but yeah, thanks everyone for watching. Next week we'll be talking about which Hollywood movie can get which Bollywood movie can get a not Bollywood, which Indian movie can make a great Hollywood adaptation.
Oh,
That's
Indian. Okay, okay. I have one in my mind then.
yeah, okay. Then and yeah, so stay tuned for next week. Again, if you enjoyed
And
this
Geek.
video, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, follow us on Instagram, and yeah, that's it. Keep geeking out.
Yeah.